Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Trey, getting back in touch with you from Japan. Today, we are going to be discussing the network effect. You may have heard this word thrown around when discussing stock evaluations and things like that, but you might be wondering, what is it and why is it good and or bad? The simplest way I can think of to explain the network effect is imagine Facebook or Instagram, if you've ever used any of those. Basically, you go on and it's exciting because there are so many other people using it. It's interesting because you can look up your favorite thing on Instagram and there are hundreds of people all around the world interested in that same thing. That's the network effect, and that's what makes those social media networks interesting or fun. Imagine if you went on and there was like 5 other people in the world using it and you typed in like, oh, I want to see this car, and there were no responses. You'd be like, this system sucks, I'm gonna stop using it. That's basically what happens when you don't have the network effect and you're trying to make a social network. So the network effect also comes into play for big companies. I just did a video on Salesforce, CRM. Click up here if you want to take a look at that. Salesforce is a company that provides tools for companies to build new relationships with customers and things like that. And initially, Salesforce can go in and offer them one set of software. And little by little, customers realize that Salesforce can solve a lot of their different problems. And what ends up happening is that they're in this network where a lot of different aspects of their business are being provided by Salesforce. And so switching out of that becomes really hard or really costly or really time consuming. So in Salesforce's situation, it ends up generally being a really good situation for both the client and for Salesforce providing those services. So generally speaking, as an investor, you want to be looking for companies that have the network effect on their side. And so that generally gives them a wider moat, which means it's harder for enemies to get in. It's harder for other companies to take business away from them. And it also generally makes it a little bit easier for them to be more aggressive on adjusting their prices because they know that customers aren't just gonna bounce. And so I remember a few years ago when Facebook didn't have any way of monetizing itself. Facebook was kind of like, hey, we're gonna start introducing advertisements. And I remember Instagram had that point too, where all of a sudden advertisements started appearing. Basically, people are so invested in Facebook and Instagram that it's like, yeah, of course I just look at Instagram whenever I sit down on the toilet or whatever. It's like, you're not gonna switch, even though they're starting to throw these ads at you, and therefore your experience isn't quite as good as it used to be. That network effect is really good for Facebook to have on you as a user. So that's a really good thing to be looking for that provides a really big moat and therefore security and therefore most likely price growth going into the future of your stock investments. Let me know if you have any questions or thoughts. Please take a moment to hit the like button down below. That really helps us out here. And if you have some time, also hit the subscribe button as well. Let me know if you have any questions or if you have any requests for other terms or definitions you'd like to learn more about. Looking forward to getting to know you guys more in the comment section. Love you guys and have a great week.